Songs in the Night, November 25th. The chosen text from Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 11. As an eagle stirreth up her nest. Explanation. Thus does the Lord at times permit trials, persecutions, etc., which outwardly seems to imply the wrecking of most precious interests and sometimes cause surprise to his people by the roughness and jarring conditions. Nevertheless, under divine supervision, the striving up of the nest and the throwing of responsibility upon his people can be made advantageous to them, strengthening, helping them. Then comes a time of rest and opportunity for spiritual edification, comfort, growth in grace and knowledge. Happy are those who, in the time of the stirring up of the nest, are rightly exercised by the Lord's providences and thought of Him, and made more and more active in His service, the service of the righteousness, truth, and love. Reprint number 4335, hymn number 307. Amen.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to unpack a really fundamental human question.
A big one.
Yeah, why do those incredibly difficult times, trials or hardships, why do they feel so destructive?
Like the world is ending.
Exactly. We're diving into a fascinating text called Songs in the Night, which argues these moments aren't random at all. They're purposeful.
And that's an immediate shift in perspective, isn't it? The source calls them roughness and jarring conditions.
Jarring conditions, I like that.
And it says they feel like the wrecking of most precious interests. They just blindside you. But the whole framework here suggests that surprise, that feeling of destruction, is actually part of the point.
Okay, so let's get into the central metaphor here, which comes from the Bible. It's Deuteronomy 32.101, right? As an eagle stirreth up her nest.
That's the key.
I mean, when the parent eagle literally makes the nest unbearable, the little eaglets must think their home is being destroyed.
Of course. But the parent is just forcing them to face the air to finally fly.
And that is the perfect analogy for what this source material is getting at.
It is. This stirring up, as chaotic and painful as it is understood to be under divine supervision. It's for a very specific, advantageous reason.
And the immediate outcome isn't comfort.
No, not at all. It's practical. The source says it is strengthening, helping them by, and this is the important part, throwing of responsibility upon his people.
So the first benefit isn't some kind of spiritual peace, it's just grit.
Grit, exactly.
It's that sudden, cold realization that the safety net is gone and, you have to carry the weight yourself. It's resilience learned on the fly.
Precisely. I mean, if you're always comfortable, always protected, you never develop those muscle fibers of self-reliance. The jarring conditions just dismantle that comfort zone.
Okay, but here's where it gets really, really interesting to me. It's not just one long, hard slog. The source outlines a kind of sequence.
Yes.
After that immediate high-pressure trial is over, there's this intentional shift into what it calls a time of rest and opportunity.
And that phase is absolutely critical. It's where the real learning happens. The trial forces the launch, but the rest period is where you consolidate the knowledge.
What kind of knowledge?
During this time, the person receives spiritual edification, comfort, growth in grace and knowledge.
Hold on, let's translate that for a moment. Spiritual edification. What does that actually mean in practical terms? Is that just feeling better?
I don't think so. It's a measurable internal change.
Right.
It's a greater clarity of purpose. It's an increased sense of peace that comes from knowing you survived the worst.
So you understand your own limits and your own capabilities better.
Exactly. You gain knowledge not just about the event, but about yourself under pressure. The rest allows those frantic survival instincts to settle into conscious wisdom.
And that wisdom isn't supposed to be passive. It's a call to action.
A powerful one.
So we've moved from that initial wrecking feeling through strength and knowledge, and now we get to service. The text says those who respond correctly become more and more active in his service.
The whole process is about refinement for a purpose. And that service is clearly defined. It's the service of righteousness, truth, and love.
So those jarring conditions weren't just a random lesson in patience. They were preparation.
A preparation for a specific elevated form of contribution.
You know, what stands out to me is that final, powerful statement from the source. It says, "Happy are those who, in the time of the stirring up of the nest, are rightly exercised by the Lord's providences."
That sounds a bit like impenetrable jargon.
It does. But if we break it down, what does it mean to be rightly exercised?
It means to respond intentionally instead of just reacting emotionally. Providence here just means the intentional circumstances governing your life.
So to be rightly exercised is to see the pattern.
Yes, to recognize that the pressure had a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use that strength you gained to serve proactively rather than, sinking into bitterness or feeling like a victim.
So what does all this mean for you, the listener? We started with what looks like total collapse. But the synthesis here is that these jarring conditions are basically a launch mechanism.
A highly efficient one.
They push you out of comfort and into a deeper, more resilient state of knowledge and, well, utility. The outward chaos is just the prelude to profound inner strengthening.
And that raises a really important final question for you to think about. If these trials are fundamentally meant to instruct, what does it truly mean to be taught of him? To intentionally engage with these difficult patterns?
What shifts in perspective are required?
Exactly. What does it take to move past the shock of hardship and fully embrace the strength that's waiting on the other side?